¿Vas a matricularte en la clase de Español 4? Are you going to sign up for Spanish 4? We put together this video to give you some key information about Spanish 4 to aid you in making your decision. We're also going to explain the benefits of continuing to study Spanish, and you'll get to hear what some current Spanish 4 students have to say about the course. Spanish 4 works a lot like Spanish 3. You'll still have vocabulary comprehension, vocab production, interpersonal, interpretive, and presentational communication, retakes, and the products, practices, and perspectives of Spanish-speaking cultures. You can also choose to earn 5 hours of college credit from the University of Missouri St. Louis by taking Spanish 4 at Eureka, just like in Spanish 3. One new thing is that Spanish 4 is a weighted grade class, so if you get an A, it'll weight in your GPA as a 5.0, and if you get a B, it weights as a 4.0. Plus, it's the next step towards advanced placement, Spanish 5. Some of the privileges of going on to Spanish 4 are that you'll be eligible to attend the Gozadera Spanish Immersion Night in the spring. You can also go on the district-sponsored trips to Spain and Costa Rica. Some of the units that we study in Spanish 4 include El Cine en Español, where we even get to watch a couple of movies in Spanish, La Tecnología, looking at the influence that technology has on our everyday lives, El Alojamiento, with various lodging options in Spain, La Pobreza Global, where we look at poverty in around the world and especially in Guatemala, and finally Los Latinos en los Estados Unidos, where we study the influence and the impact of the large number of Latinos that are living in the U.S. today. A lot of students have been asking about the requirements for the Red Honor Cord for World Language at graduation. Students must complete 4 years, that's 8 semesters of coursework within foreign languages in order to get their honor cord. And you have to have at least a 4.01 grade point average in Spanish. You can't have any semester grade within Spanish lower than a B and no more than 2 Bs within Spanish. Also, you have to demonstrate good character traits and have departmental approval. So going on to Spanish 4 is your next step toward getting your departmental honor cord.
It's a little harder, but I think it's a lot more talking and it's a lot more communication instead of just learning grammar and stuff. You review the grammar more and you learn how to use language in conversation a lot more. So yeah, I agree.
A lot more interesting, I think. I like a lot of the topics, a lot of the units better than I did in Spanish 3. And we also do more, I guess it would be verb conjugations, that one is more subjunctive and stuff like that.
Yeah, we do a lot more verbal projects too, which helps with speaking and pronunciation.
In a few different ways. You learn about different things and also build upon your vocab. You're able to expand upon what your knowledge is and use it towards the projects that you're learning in class.
Yeah, I say it's not really too different. It's obviously, the same class and you're still the same policies and everything that you learn. It's just the addition of new information that you haven't already learned before. But everything else it's pretty similar. It's really easy to jump into.
All right.
Yeah, you're pretty much just building off the stuff that you've learned in previous years. It's nothing really too new.
No, I think it's about the same. You learn more vocabulary, I think, and you get to apply it more. And so I think it's about the same.
I thought it was a little harder, but it's also a weighted grade, so that helped me a lot this year. So yeah.
I think it's easier because
Yeah.
it's Spanish 3. Well, Spanish 2 is the hardest, so you learn more and then you get to use it, which is easier, so you already have all that knowledge.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's any easier or harder. It's just about the same.
No, because you're also getting older in high school and building towards a higher different learning level. So you're just kind of building off of the other Spanish classes that you already took, so it makes it easier to take this class, and it's not much of a big jump or anything like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's more difficult at all, just because you already have a very good understanding of the language. And I mean, obviously you're just adding on new vocab that you have to study, but there's nothing really too groundbreaking that's way different than what you've already than what you're expecting, really.
It's the same study skills and same things like that, so you don't have to change anything in order to do well in the class. Just keep up what you're doing right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's too difficult. I mean, it's probably a little bit more work, but nothing you guys probably can't handle.
I like how comfortable I was because you know everybody because you've all been doing it for so long, and nobody's judgmental and you're all at the same level.
Yeah.
So no matter what you do,
Yeah, and you're like comfortable with the language too. So like you know what you're doing more than you have in the past.
I know some kids don't like it, but I personally like a lot of the class presenting that we do. Like we're doing a video right now. I like doing that. I also like talking in front of the class for one of the projects.
Me too. I like the research one where we had to talk in Spanish. That helped a lot with the pronunciation and like getting up and talking in front of other people and using it.
All right.
Probably learning about like new and interesting things, and actually like learning about real world like ideas and things that happen like Spanish speaking countries, and like the products and all those things like that happen in like actual places.
Yeah, I enjoy learning about the perspectives too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like also how the class is very interactive. It's not just sit down, do book work, write words. It's you get to talk, and you already have so much knowledge that you can kind of discuss and do other projects that are very different from projects that you do in other classes.
Yeah, and there's also multiple times where you get to like get up in front of the class and like present things and things that you're interested in and get to choose. So it's not something you're forced into and you're like, oh, I don't want to learn this. It's something you're actually interested about and get to speak about.
it just like comes easier.
Yeah.
Like when I have a writing or like listening or speaking or whatever, I don't have to think as hard. Just kind of happens.
It like feels natural and like it's easier to talk to people in Spanish. So
Because it's easier to use it whenever
Yeah.
we do like projects and stuff in class.
Yeah, like I could never have stood up in front of the class and like given a presentation, and now it's no big deal.
Definitely memorizing like the words and what they mean in English and Spanish, and also the speaking, because we're doing a lot more of that in comparison to the earlier classes. So it makes it easier to actually just talk about what you want to talk about and like not have to think about it before you say it, just have it come out of your mind like as well.
I think my writing's gotten a lot better, especially with the new vocabulary that we learn. I think you just sound a little bit more sophisticated with the new words that you learn, and it's just sounds better whenever I write things, and it comes easier to me now.
Yeah, and like cleaning up all the different forms of verbs, the different tenses, instead of having to say everything in like an awkward way and trying to circumlocution around things, you can actually say exactly what you want to say because you've learned all of it pretty much.
It's pretty much just all the small details that you're trying to clean up from Spanish 3 to Spanish 4. I think all the teachers kind of help you wrap that up and like get a way better understanding of Spanish, so you're like fluent and also like perfect in what you're trying to say.
According to the 2010 census, Hispanics make up more than 17% of the U.S. population. The projected Hispanic population of the United States by 2050 is 132.8 million, 30% of the nation's population. The sheer number of Spanish speakers and their rate of growth makes learning Spanish a smart choice. Learning Spanish is rapidly becoming a business necessity. Hispanic consumers are the fastest growing market segment. If you are bilingual, you will be more marketable and have more career choices than your monolingual counterpart. Research indicates that knowing and using 2 languages reduces your chances of developing dementia, including Alzheimer's disease. Knowing Spanish will completely transform your travel experience. When you travel to a Spanish-speaking country, knowing the language will allow you to move from the role of observer to that of an active participant. If you want to explore the area and get to know the local people, you need to know Spanish. Knowing how to speak Spanish will enable you to help others. Learning to speak Spanish will put you in a position where you can help both Spanish speakers who don't speak English and English speakers who don't speak Spanish within the U.S. borders and abroad. Multiple studies show that language learning correlates with higher academic achievement on standardized test measures, including the ACT and SAT. Studying Spanish increases critical thinking, problem solving, flexibility, and the ability to think divergently. Get ahead while you're still in high school. Spanish 4 and AP Spanish are both weighted grade courses. Plus, through the UMSL Advanced Credit Program, students can begin earning college credit in Spanish 3, 4, and AP. Learning Spanish helps you develop global and cultural competence. As future citizens, workers, and leaders of our country, our students must have an understanding of other cultures and an ability to interact successfully with those from different backgrounds. Learning Spanish at EHS from our dedicated and experienced teachers is fun, engaging, and it focuses on communication, connecting to other disciplines, connecting to the community, and becoming lifelong learners.